everybody, welcome back to the 4-String Strummer, the channel. It's all about ukuleles. We got the big banjo ukulele out again this week. We're going to be doing some more Irish tunes. I got some new techniques and some embellishments that you can use to really help pull that Irish sound out of your ukulele. All right, folks, this week we're going with a classic tune, the Black Velvet Band. So get tuned up and let's dive in. And her hair it hung over her shoulder, tied up in a black velvet band. Alright, so for those of you that missed last week's video, you might want to check that one out. I'll put a link up here somewhere and you can click on that. It's how to get the best Irish sound out of your banjo ukulele. But again, this will work for a standard ukulele as well. No problems there. And I'll just give you a quick recap on some of the stuff that we talked about. So obviously in the last video I used a banjo ukulele and that works great. You can use a high G or a low G. This week I'm going to use a low G. Doesn't really matter. It's just it kind of fills the nice bassier sort of a sound in on this, and I very rarely play a low G, so I thought we'll do some of that. Now we're also going a little unconventional and we're using a pick. Now this really sounds nice with the banjo ukulele and it helps to give it that extra pop that you want, particularly for the Irish sound. Okay, like if you hear an Irish tenor banjo, that's always pretty much played with a plectrum or a pick. And so we're going to go that route as well for our style here. And like we normally do, we're going to be getting the melody as well as the rhythm going at the same time, just like we do when we play bluegrass or country or folk in the plaid band style. So we'll go through some of those techniques today as well. All right, so get yourself a pick. And so the next thing that we want to take a look at here, again, we're doing some unconventional stuff here, and it really adds to the sound, particularly when we want to get that nice Irish vibe going on. I've taken the tuning of this instrument up to what they call a Canadian tuning, but basically all it is a full step up. Okay, so instead of where we normally have G, C, E, A, guitarists can easily adjust. How do you like that one? We're going to go with A. We're going to go with D. We're going to go with F sharp. And we're going to go with B. So the cool thing here is you just tune it up one full step, and this does a couple things. One thing that it does is that it keeps all your chord shapes the same, so you don't have to worry about learning new chords or anything like that. It bumps the pitch up basically, okay, so that when you're singing, it makes it a little bit easier to sing. And the other thing that it does is it gives you sort of a brighter kind of a sound that kind of cuts through, gives you a little bit more punch, which also lends itself well to the Irish style. All right, so give that a try. Don't worry. I do this on my ukes all the time. I tune them high and low, like standard tuning or the full step up, and so it shouldn't bother your strings or anything at all. Sometimes you might have to adjust it a little bit, right? But other than that, no problems there at all. See, hear how it's a little brighter, a little punchier, right? I love it. Okay, so we're going to start off. I'll just show you how this song goes. We're going to do Black Velvet Band, real classic sort of a pub song here, Irish tune. And it goes like this. Starts in C. In the neat little town they call Belfast, apprentice to trade I was G bound. And then you can go down to G7. And back to C. Many is the hour of sweet A minor happiness. F. I spent in that G7 little town. Back to C. And the tune remains the same right through. So for the verses and also for the chorus as well. All right, let's talk about some strumming, some little pick techniques that we can go through, and we'll talk about picks as well. All right, let's dive into that now. So as we do with our normal plaid band style, like when we're playing bluegrass or whatever, we like to keep the melody going. We like to be able to play the melody as well. We like to be able to play the rhythm, and sometimes we want to have them both going at the same time. So we're going to be doing the same thing with this Irish sort of style that we're developing here. So let me just show you how this is going to work. So how are we doing this? Let's start off with the strumming. So get yourself a pick, and again, as we mentioned last week, almost any pick will do. Something kind of between probably 0.5, like a 0.50 millimeter, up to like a 0.75, something in that sort of a range will work great. I've got my fancy dancy Irish one here. Okay, so we'll just review some of the stuff again. So we're going to talk about trailing angle, how straight up and down, or how much of a trailing angle you're going to want to have, okay, and how you hold the pick. Now again, I hold the pick with 3 fingers, like 2 fingers and a thumb, like that. So the thumb in the middle and a finger on each side. Now again, I know some of you folks, you like to hold it more conventionally, like that, kind of like a pinch thing. If you're used to that, go for it. I find I have better pick control. I just kind of did this, I think it's probably from when I was a little kid, and I found it hard to hold a pick and keep it from falling out of my hand just with my thumb and my finger like that. So anyway, that's how I go about it. Now when we're strumming, we're going to just do, it's just like a 1, 2, 3 kind of a thing. If you're just starting and you want to just do a nice simple strum, that's nice. You can just do a bit of a trailing angle, so let it trail, and you kind of almost like you have a paintbrush and you're brushing it. You don't want it digging in like that. You want to just trail it a little bit, okay? In the neat little town they call Belfast. And if you want to alternate off your top string there, whether it's high G or low G, that's fine too. In a neat little town they call Belfast. Okay, you can play the entire song just like that if you want to. All right, if you want to start to strum back up a little bit, you can do some of that too. Let's have a look at that. Like that, right? You don't have to get too fancy with this one, all right? And then I'll show you how we can start to put some little hammer-ons in without going too crazy on your picking technique. All right, let's take a look at some of that now too. So what we want to do here is, as we're strumming, we want to make sure, again, we've got trailing angle when we're strumming down. You also need, if you're going to be strumming up again, you need to make sure you've got trailing angle coming back up. Okay, so it's just a matter of kind of allowing the pick to trail back and forth. So it's just a little bit of wrist rotation that'll help you with that. And then also, depending on what sound you want. So if you want it to really punch more like an Irish tenor banjo, right? You want to hold that pick a little bit more firmly and with a little bit less trailing angle. Okay, and I'll show you that when we do a little bit more of the picking. But just be, aware of what sound you're getting. Listen to this. I'll do it with less trailing angle and less pressure on the pick. Now I'll increase it. So you can hear how it's getting louder, it's getting a little bit punchier, right? And all I'm doing is I'm reducing that trailing angle, and it's much more straight up and down, and I'm holding it a little bit more firmly. All right? Okay, so play around with that, get the sound that you want when you want it. All right, let's take a look at how we're going to start to pull the melody out. Now, one of the beautiful things that I really like about ukulele is it's only 4 strings, right? So, and some people will see that as a disadvantage, but there are also advantages to that. The one cool thing is that you're never too far away from the melody note. All right, so if you think about it, when we start this song, in the neat little town they call Belfast, I can strum all of the strings, right? I don't have to be exact and pick the exact note, and you can still hear that melody poking out, right? Listen again. All right, so there's no need to be super exact with your picking hand. All right, so let's talk about where these notes are. Obviously, they're going to be in our regular favorite places that we always have, which is when we're playing in C, right? You work this triangle, I call it, right? So on your third string, second fret, second string, first fret, and your second string, third fret. You might find yourself up here as well, okay? And on this song, we're going to be here on the fourth fret on the fourth string, and also on the second fret on the fourth string, okay? All right, so let's have a little look. We're going to do this in phrases like we normally do, and we're going to find where each of the melody notes are and how we can drag them out. Here we go. All right, start things off here. We're going to go with our C, and the first phrase is going to be in a neat little town they call Belfast. So that's what we're listening for. Again. So let's just do the first part. So you can hammer on here your second finger at the third fret on the second string. Then you lift your second finger. In a neat little town. One more time. In a neat little town. Then you go to the first fret on the second string. They, in a neat little town they call. So you go first fret on the second string, then you go to the third fret again on the second string. Third fret, first fret back again. Open, okay? Open, first, third, first, open. Listen for the sound. All right, let's go to the next phrase. All right, second phrase. Apprentice to trade I was bound. So just open, and the note is here on the third string. And then you drop your second finger here at the second fret on the third string. Then you lift it, okay? And then the next note is actually on the second string open. Then we go back to the third open. Then we go up to the fourth fret on the fourth string. Then the second fret on the fourth string. Then open. Okay, and now when we do that, we're going to switch to the G chord. Again, one more time. Okay, then we just go right to a G7, just kind of run it down. One more time. And many's the hours. And when you do that, and we're going to break into the third phrase now. Here we go. All right, so for the third phrase, so we go back to the C, and we just kind of quickly drop our second finger here at the third string at the second fret, and we go right to the second string. And then after the second string, we go up to the fourth string open. Then we go to the second fret on the fourth string. Then we go to the fourth fret on the fourth string. Back to the third string. And then we go to the third string at the second fret. All right, one more time. and that's when we switch to the A minor. All right, now we're going to go to the fourth phrase. Here we go. All right, so for the fourth phrase, we're on A minor. Then we're going to focus on this third string here open. And then you go to the second fret. So it's third string, second fret. Then the second string open. Then second string at the first fret. Then we go up to the fourth fret on the fourth string. And you can slide into that if you want to, or you can just reach it with either your pinky finger or your third finger. Then we go down to the third string open. Then we go to the third string at the second fret, and this is where we're actually switching to the G. Then back to C. All right, let's try it again from the A minor. And we go back to the C. Okay, and that's the entire thing. Now let's just talk about how much melody we want versus how much rhythm we want. All right, let's look at that now. All right, so for an instrumental, if you're playing with somebody else, again, I always talk about this, right? If somebody's going to carry the rhythm and you want to just pick the melody, you can do that. So each one of those notes that I talked about, you can pick individually, all right? Works great. Now, if you want, you can do some strumming and just do some hammer-ons and just throw in the odd hammer-on. You don't have to do them all, okay? And you'll start to hear that melody poking its way out. And then you can also do sort of a combination of both and get yourself sort of a 50-50, so you've got rhythm and you can really hear the melody coming out as well. All right, now one of the techniques that I use when I'm singing is I don't tend to overdo it on the picking stuff, right? Again, I always say this, you don't want your fancy picking competing with your voice, all right, or vice versa. So I generally do one or the other. I might do the odd little hammer on here and there just to kind of fill the sound in a little bit, but when I'm singing, it's about the voice. When I'm doing instrumental, it's about the instrument. All right, so one of the techniques that I also use here is something that I'm gonna just call the fiddle strum, and I'm just calling it that because it sort of illustrates in your mind. If you think about a fiddle, right, you're bowing back and forth, and what I do with the pick is I take the pick, and rather than having it at a sort of a trailing angle like this, I actually turn it almost as if I'm sawing on a bow, sawing on a fiddle with a bow, right? And I kind of do like a cross cut kind of a thing, and I take my pick more this way. So you can hear how soft it is, right? You don't want it to be too straight across. But if you get just a little bit of an angle, maybe like a 45 degrees, something like that, play with the angle and you'll start to see that you can really soften the sound up. And it gives sort of a different sound. Let me play it for you and I'll show you what I mean. You can hear how it's softer versus this. Hear how it has that sort of a mellower kind of a sound if you do that fiddle strum. So throw that in every once in a while too. All right, so here's what it can sound like. You can hear it. It's again sort of a woodsier, sort of a mellower kind of a sound if you use that fiddle strum. So give that a try as well. Okay, let's have a look at some other little techniques that you can do now. So when we're talking about sound, another thing that you can do to alter what the sound of the instrument is like, again, we got pick angle, we've got our fiddle strum, and then we can also talk about individual notes, how heavy you're digging into specific individual notes. Okay, the more you dig into an individual note, the more Irish banjo sound you're going to have, because again, tenor banjo in the Irish style tends to be a melodic instrument, right? So they're just mostly playing melody lines. And then you can also choose on where you play up and down the strings, right? So the closer to the bridge you get that punchier sound. Up here, much warmer, okay? So again, if you don't want to compete with your voice, you can move your strumming up a little bit. When you start to do more of the instrumental parts, if you want to jump back a little bit, it'll give you a little bit more of that Irish kind of a sound. All right? Excellent. Now, this week we've been going crazy getting the instruments out the door. As you folks know, lots of Dukes. We're almost through the ones that we got in on the last shipment. They just come in and they're going out really quickly. We do have another shipment that is just about to leave, so it should be here pretty soon. We've got some awesome deals going right now. Just check, because they change from time to time. I'm going to put a link down in the description for you for Duke ukulele, and you can just check out what the sort of deal of the day is that's going on. And we'll be getting those out. We're shipping them worldwide right now. So if you're looking for a way to have a lot of fun, you want to get yourself your own Duke, check it out, Friends the 4-String Strummer, and you'll get yourself a really good deal on an awesome instrument. All right, now don't forget, visit us at 4stringstrummer.ca and also join the 4-String Strummers on our Facebook chat group. Lots of nice folks on there, lots of great videos to see. People from all over the world are joining in, and we're having a blast. Thousands of people on there. All right, folks, let's play the tune through now. I'm going to give you an opportunity to do a little bit of the instrumental and sing along. This is a great Irish pub song. Here we go. All right, y'all ready to sing? Here we go. In a neat little town they call Belfast, apprentice to trade I was bound, and many's the hour of sweet happiness I spent in that neat little town, till bad misfortune came o'er me, and it caused me to stray from the land, far away from my friends and relations, betrayed by the black velvet band. Her eyes, they shone like the diamonds, you would think she was queen of the land, and her hair, it hung over her shoulders, tied up in a black velvet band. Well, I went out strolling one evening, not meaning to go very far, when I met with a pretty young damsel. She was selling her trade in a bar, when a watch she took from a patron, and she slipped it right into my hand. Then the law came and put me in prison, bad luck to a black velvet band. Her eyes, they shone like the diamonds, you would think she was queen of the land, and her hair, it hung over her shoulder, tied up in a black velvet band. Well, next morning before judge and jury, for a trial I had to appear. Then the judge, he says, "Me, young fellow, the case against you is quite clear, and 7 long years is your sentence, and you're going to Van Diemen's Land, far away from your friends and relations, bad luck from the black velvet take warning from me. And whenever you're on the liquor, me lads, beware of the pretty callings. Wanna fill you with whiskey and porter till you are not able to stand. And the very next thing that you know, me lads, you've landed in Van Diemen's Land. And her eyes, they shone like the diamonds. You would think she was queen of the land. And her hair humped over the shoulders, tied up in a black velvet band. Well, there you go, folks. This is a lot of fun, this Irish style. I'm really digging into it, and by the views on the previous video, it looks like a lot of people are really enjoying it. So give it a try. Any questions at all, drop it down into the comment section. I'm always more than happy to help you out. Hit that subscribe button, because that really helps me out too. And until we see you next time, folks, keep smiling, keep strumming, and have fun. Maybe with one of these videos right over here. All right, bye for now.